Ademir, I hope you're doing good. I hope you've been having a good week. You know, it's been okay. Just a little, just light. It's been a lazy week. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been doing too much. Taking it real easy. That's good. That's good. I'm glad you're here today. I'm glad you could, take the time out, say a couple words, share a couple thoughts. Um, First thing I want to talk to you about is, where you're from. Can you talk about where you came from? Sure. So I'm originally from the East Coast. I moved out to LA like 2 years ago, basically. Um, in May, it'll be like officially 2 years since I moved out here. Um, but I grew up in Massachusetts, Brockton, Massachusetts. It's a little south of Boston. Um, and it was cool. I really liked growing up there. One of the first things I thought when I like visited LA, I was like, people's from here for real? Like, I couldn't imagine, just like with how my childhood was and how it went, and like the sights and sounds that I was used to seeing. I was like, this is like insane. Like how, I don't know. It was just weird. It was just it was one of those moments when like you realize how big the world is. Um, and that was like the biggest thing I think that I'm still grappling with in terms of like the surrounding change, the setting change. Like, it's big. Like, Boston's big. It's a city. It's a major city, but it's big out here. You can like walk places in Boston, but you can't do that here. That's been weird, but that's been really cool though. I kind of like being a little fish in a big pond in that way. Um, and I'm always looking like down for like doing something new. So it's a good change. I'm glad I made it out here. I met so many people. I met the lovely Katera, and everybody else, like just such talented like and wholesome and real people. I feel like maybe, I don't know, that whole perception about when people move out here and they be like, everybody's so fake. That's so untrue. Whoever started that rumor, we need to talk. Because I want to know who you was meeting out here. Because everyone I've met here on the West and who's like from here is like the nicest people ever. Like actually the nicest people. Um, so they tripping. They doing y'all dirty. I'm so sorry about that. Could you talk about how do you feel like your music has changed at all since moving out here? My answer to that would be 100%. Definitely, for sure, absolutely. Um, I think what has really like changed is that I think just the way I go about it has changed. Like the way I go about making something, anything, has really changed. Um, these days, I use music as a way to do like a trial run on expression. I like to focus on a feeling, an emotion, whatever. Anything like that feels internal that's kind of like hard to put into words. I challenge myself to like, all right, let's try to make that, bring that into the world. And it's so stereotypical to say, but it's really therapeutic in that way. I think there's something powerful about listening to words that you need to hear with your own voice, or listening to words that are like significant to you and you don't even know it yet. Like writing a song and you listen to it later on and you're like, oh, I didn't even realize I was talking about this, but I was. Because like you're looking back on like where you were when you made it, and you're like, you had all those things going on, and you're like, you listen to what you made, and you're like, oh, right, I was feeling like this, and all these words, because sometimes, I don't know, I write, and there's not always 100% like a thing in there. Sometimes I like just to write almost like an exercise, like just to get the idea out. You know, I love to get the idea out. That's like a something I say a lot to myself, or I'll write it down. Like, I need to get the idea out. There's a rhythm, a flow, whatever that could be cool. I'm gonna do it. I like to do little voice memos when I'm walking. I look crazy on them sometimes, I bet, to people walking by, because I'm just doing something like acapella in my. I'll do it on the butt. Like, I kind of don't care where I do it. Sometimes I get self-conscious, though, I won't lie, because I'm like aware of like. Because I don't know, I feel like I know what I'm doing, so like other people can see and they'll know what I'm doing, and for some reason that it feels embarrassing in a way. Why do you get embarrassed about that? I don't know. I think I get embarrassed a lot. I think I get embarrassed easy. Um, I'm, um, I'm very sentimental. I think I have been for a long time. Longer than I thought I once was. I thought I was softening up over time, but I realized I think I was always kind of a softer guy, and I was trying to make myself into something else, an image, trying to form myself into like some image that wasn't true to me and wasn't true to my soul. You know, I was building a body that my soul couldn't habitate, so to speak. But now, I think that's another thing. Being out here gave me. It gave me like a bit of a restart, because I had to restart like socially. I didn't know anybody besides Easy and a couple people I knew from school who moved out here. So going out into the world on my own fully, because I went to school out in Massachusetts too, so like home was never too far. So when I moved out here, I didn't know. I had a small handful of friends that also were just as busy, and a whole side of the country I'd never been to ever. So I really restarted, and it kind of gave me the chance to like reevaluate who I was, who I am, I should say, who I am. I got a chance to reevaluate who I am, and decide and make the choice of like, no, I think I'm going to live how I've always wanted to live, to see if that is actually how I want. You know, like to just try to take those ideas and bring them out. It's like, what would it be like if I started dressing this way? Let me just do it and see, and go off of the feeling. I try to go off of feeling with a lot of what I do. I try to like just follow what feels good, what feels right. And in a funny way, I think sometimes what feels good and what feels right also is a little scary. Because I find that I like being vulnerable. I like being vulnerable, and I like what that brings out of me, but it's also, even when it's by myself or whatever, and especially when it comes time to like show somebody anything, I get really scared. And I'm trying to shake out of that, because I think as an artist, you have to be fearless. I don't think there's such a thing as a cowardly artist. I think if you make something, you're conquering fear all the time, because you're conquering being vulnerable. At least for me, I like to speak to myself whenever I say things like that. I don't like to generalize too much. But at least for me, it's an exercise in bravery to create, because when you're trying to create from down inside and give life to things that you struggle to express on your normal day to day, you you conquer it. And that's what I want to do. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to grow and be a better person. And I think making music and just being creative and being around creative people helps me do that. And it feels great, so I don't want to stop. Yeah, that's me. Thank you so much for your time, Ademir. I think you said some very great things, some very insightful pieces. It was very nice to meet you, sir. You're welcome. It was very nice to meet you, too. I hope you have a great day, or a great night, and a great life.